So, welcome to Final Whistle Weekly. The end of the season is nigh, and well, plenty for both our teams to play for, and a busy week as well. We'll be looking back at Exeter and Cambridge. We'll be also looking at the Briton Ferry match, paying tribute to Del Morgan as well. What a brilliant servant she has been for us. And we've also got an archive interview with Jake Edwards talking about being a ball boy at the World Cup, living the dream. Of course, I'm joined by Neil Williams, who is seconds after arriving from Cornwall, the Iron Man of broadcasting, and Chay, who is seconds from switching his laptop on. Hello, chaps.
Neil, that takes some commitment, mate.
Certainly does. I was planning to maybe come back tomorrow, but full of cold, not a cold mind, as Mark thought. So just thought I'd get back tonight, and I've got then tomorrow home and off work all week, so not back till get ready for the big match on Saturday. So,
it sounds easy now, doesn't it? I thought he was a hero, and now he's taking a day off tomorrow.
I've been off all week.
Oh man. How straightforward is that? That's shocking.
How they live on that side of Shropshire, holidays in Cornwall.
That's how
this guy.
Yeah.
Must have taken a while to get here on horseback.
Yeah, that's true. He's got to have a day travelling time to get to the game, doesn't he? You're quite right. I mean, to be fair to Neil, he did used to commute from Cornwall to the Wrexham games, so I guess we should cut him a little bit of slack.
Oh, of course, yeah, a seasoned traveller.
But that's all. That's all the slack we are cutting him. And now that's
I can do the journey with my eyes closed. So,
well, that's why he ended up in court, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tragic. Well, more of Neil's unfortunate legal problems later. But for now, this is Final Whistle Weekly. I mean, Briton Ferry first, played at the racecourse. Sadly, didn't go the way we want it to, but there's still plenty to play for this season. But the main achievement, I would argue, is that we got into the second phase, got those wins against Cardiff and Swansea. Everything else is a bonus now. You were there, Chay, and we just couldn't get going, could we?
I was absolutely gutted for him, like really gutted at the final whistle, because I don't think they could have played a worse side because they had a lot of hurdles to come over this game. Let's be fair. It was a lovely day. It was Mother's Day, so there's gonna be a lot of people who would have gone who can't go. Still 2,000 people who turned up. It was a cracking atmosphere. Really good, but you play a side who are very good in Briton Ferry, obviously very well organised. They've got that housery, shall we say, about them, which I quite like. In all fairness, yeah, I'm going to give them a lot of credit today, but they don't have that sexy name like a Cardiff or a Swansea, do they? So everything that went wrong kind of went wrong. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong from today on that day, didn't it, Mark? It didn't really quite click. But they shown good glimpses of really nice football as well, which is such a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the classic example, isn't it, of some teams are extremely well set up and therefore are extremely difficult to play against. And I don't mean that as an insult to Briton Ferry. I mean it as a compliment. They're hard to play against. They're physically tough. Like you said, they've got, should we say, a hard edge about the way they go about things. And if you're not able to impose yourself and take your chances, they create pressure on you, and eventually they're able to do damage, aren't they? And that's exactly what they did, which was a shame. I mean, we played them at the start of the season and folded, really, at their place. Then brought them to ours, imposed our style of play on a bigger pitch at the Rock, and really pulled them to pieces and beat them 3-0. The 2-all draw was a case of both sides having spells where they imposed themselves, and we really stood up to be counted. But like you said, they create pressure more than create chances in a way, don't they? They're dropping in behind your defence all the time. They're making you defend all the time. They force little errors and they pounce on them. And that was just one of those days, wasn't it? I had a lot of sympathy for the team as well.
I feel like they're quite good at the dark arts of football, aren't they, as well? Their manager, their assistant, they make a lot of noise when there's any sort of slight challenge going against them. You know what I mean? Like, that could be a foul that our managers don't, which I'm not saying is a right or wrong way to do it, but their managers were very vocal, very animated. They brought couple fans as well, in all fairness to them.
And they were loud as well, weren't they?
Yeah, they were loud. And it's little things like, I was quite low and level to the pitch, so you could hear a lot of things. Their players were quite chopsy in the ears of Wrexham players. And at the end of the day, if we want to be challenging for titles next season, you've got to be getting over stuff like that. You know, but you've got to give Briton Ferry, for me, a lot of credit. But I'd like to say, on the flip side to that, there was 2 goals that were probably completely avoidable as well. I think the first goal frustrated me the most. I honestly thought it must be offside, but looking at the replay, we were just not quite quick enough to get out of our box, were we, to cause that offside trap. And I think Steve Dale and the management team are going to be really, really frustrated looking at that goal. As much as the third goal was an individual error, but the first goal, I think, would be a lot more frustrating from a management sort of point of view, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? I said, a team like that who are good at set pieces, and like I said, are just relentlessly dropping that ball in behind you rather than necessarily looking for a pass. You have to execute those sort of things well, don't you? Really, where if you're going to get out after you've cleared a set piece, you got to get out quickly, do it as a unit, and just make sure that when they put it back in, there's a chance they'll just stick it straight through to the keeper. And you're quite right, that was where some players got out, some didn't. And it's just one of those things. You switch off for half a second and that they're set up to punish that sort of thing. Still a hell of a header, to be fair, as well, because she's not running onto it. So to get enough power on it, and of course the direction, it's just a perfect header. You see it at first.
I thought the placement was absolutely was amazing. But I was screaming for it. I was like, everyone around me, because we were at the other side of the pitch. On the lower end, because it just thought it must be offside. It looked offside, but it wasn't. It wasn't. I was completely wrong because I watched the highlights. I was like, oh right, yeah. And to be fair, after we conceded the first goal, for example, we really started to play well then, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then we got the equaliser. We played some really nice. I was like, all right, we'll get into this. And I think conceding that second goal when we did, and the third goal were really killer blows. And I think it's such a shame, because I think if we didn't concede the third or the second goal, I think we could have nicked a draw there, because we were playing some really nice football.
I mean, it's like you see whatever type of football it is playing against, long ball teams like that. You don't look pretty. You just have to get that result. Don't you? That's essentially what it is. You're never gonna look good for 90 minutes unless you completely impose yourself on them. But we had phases of play where we went close a couple of times, a couple of good efforts, good headers are going just wide. If one of them goes in, it changes the game. I thought we still stood up to them as we did at their place. But we didn't quite manage to capitalize on the bigger pitch, which I think was what you might look to do. In fact, sometimes I thought it looked like we might be snatching at it slightly. And there were asked Wrexham questions about whether the players weren't used to the bigger dimensions. But I don't think it's that. I don't think there's that big a difference between the rock and the racecourse. I think it's that we knew that was important. Get it down the sides, get it around them. It's not cramped like at Briton Ferry's ground. And I think we just snatched at it occasionally when we had the chance to do that. Plus, of course, Briton Ferry fight like hell. and I agree with you. Is it a game? No, it's not. Is it interesting? Yeah, actually, I think it is. And they've done amazingly. They secured second place in that game. and it's a brilliant achievement by them. And it's a specific way of playing, and football's interesting because teams play in different ways. For me,
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a lot of people say about the men's side. The Wrexham men's side, a lot of other people's fans say we're not pleasing to watch. We're the worst side that has beat us this season. But if you're getting results, you're getting results. It doesn't matter how you get. If the 3 points are 3 points, it doesn't matter how pretty you look, does it? But at the end of the day, though, Mark, I was gutted for the women on Sunday because they've come through a lot of adversity this season, and they've now really started to play some good football, a really good run of games. We've not lost in a while, and they've come to the racecourse in front of probably what was the biggest Welsh domestic attendance that weekend. Yeah, definitely was. I'm not counting the Cardiff, Swansea, Newport, but in the Welsh leagues, it would have been the highest attendance, and they couldn't quite showcase the what they're about. And I think they'll be a bit frustrated in themselves after that, and it's a shame, really, because they've been brilliant this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. I mean, that is true. And Neil, I mean, there's still a Welsh Cup final to come. They can still fight to they're in third place. Regardless of Briton Ferry beating us, it's still a successful season, I think, isn't it, Neil, by anybody's measure?
I totally agree with you, Mark. It's been a reason, to see with the first half of the season, you've said so many times they've been playing good football, but the results weren't going their way. Then all of a sudden it clicked, and they started producing results which you didn't expect them to beat the likes of Swansea twice and get into that second phase in the top four. And I'm sure the whole women's team are disappointed, playing in front of, as we both said, playing in front of a big crowd at the racecourse, which they don't often get the chance to do, and holding them to a 2-2 draw away the weekend before, and then coming up there. I'm sure they're all disappointed by their performance, and they'd have liked to put on a performance for the home fans. But that shows the progress of Briton Ferry. We beat them in the playoffs a couple of seasons ago, and I think you said, Mark, previously they've taken on quite a few good players, and they've come on in leaps and bounds, haven't they, really, as a team? And as you say, you don't necessarily need to play pretty football to win games, as you both said, which the men's team have done quite a lot of that recently. But I'm sure the whole team are disappointed, but they've got a cup final to look forward to. They can hold their heads up high. They finished third in the league. I think they've got another 2 or 3 games to go, Mark.
The 2 league games and then the cup final.
Yeah, the neutral ground down in Newport again, yeah.
Well, less said about that, the better.
I've got to say, Chay, you're saying about surely it's the biggest domestic attendance of the weekend. Right, I just want to put this into context. It was the men's league has been going since 1992, so that's 33 years. Our attendance on Sunday was 5. That's 5 people below the 5th biggest attendance that the JD Cymru Premier's ever had.
Wow.
So,
and did that involve Bangor City or something like that, did it?
No. Rill against Prestatyn.
Oh, yeah. Right, okay.
So basically the 5 biggest crowds that the men's league has ever had, 4 of them are North Walian derbies, and then the other one is Barry Town against Carnarvon, who, as we know, travel in numbers. And the 2 biggest crowds Wrexham women have ever had are bigger than the biggest crowd ever in the history of the Men's League of Wales. So,
wow,
go figure.
That goes to your point, Mark, that the Welsh FA should be pushing it a lot more with the interest in the women's game in Wales, really.
Well, we're certainly doing a remarkable job, and the crowds that we are getting for the women's games really are utterly fantastic, and it's great. We're flag bearers for something that I think is very special, and I hope that we can continue to build it. I think that's the best thing I can say. And if you don't mind me, no, before I go on to that, I just want to say as well, Chay, haven't had a chance to see the team in the flesh. I reckon you can probably see why I get excited by Abby Inden up front, can't you? It's
Yeah,
class.
yeah. No, absolutely. We've got some real quality in that
Mm.
team. I, I've not watched them. No, I have watched them once, I think, this season in the flesh, but the rest has been highlights and what have you. Because I do have my son on Sundays, and it's the one Sunday I didn't have him. I'm really hoping next season I get to, come up a lot more often because I really did. Every time I go watch the women's side, I do really enjoy myself,
Mm.
and it's so affordable as well.
Yeah.
It it people complain about how the price of football and what have you these days. There is local football here for local girls representing Wrexham, and it's cost me £3 to go watch them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought a pint and what have you as well. Had to on a lovely day like that, but the whole day cost me less than a tenner. It's really affordable. I just really really hope people really catch on to it, and we build a little bit more on it because there's certainly a hunger there for it, isn't there?
Yeah.
2,000 on a Sunday. There certainly is a hunger there for it. So yeah, I hope this result doesn't batter the women too much because I think they were a bit unfortunate. I think if we were to play a Cardiff or something like that at home, it would have been a bit more. I don't know. With Briton Ferry, they're just a horrible team to play, aren't they? They really are. But you've got to give them a lot of credit. They played the occasion really well. The I did like the housery. I did like the things they were saying to our players. It was nasty, but you do what you do. You do what you can to win games.
Yeah. I was saying about Inden, that's the fourth game in a row that she scored in as well. She certainly did show definitely what she was all about. A few of the players, you could see elements of it, but Inden was the one who was right up there with her normal levels, and she holds the ball. And Rosie Hughes off the bench with the triple substitution made an impact, and then Pritchard, Hughes, and Gibbard coming on just turned the tide a little bit, but the game was difficult to retrieve by then. But yeah.
There was a disallowed goal, wasn't there?
No, there wasn't. That's my. Oh, I better make my embarrassing confession, didn't I? Yeah, you look
Yeah, go on.
goal, and I looked. Oh God, I looked at it afterwards. I watched the footage back, and I went through it frame by frame, and I was looking at all different elements, and I couldn't work out why it was disallowed, and I really couldn't see anything wrong with it. But then we didn't complain, so I thought, to me, if a team scores a goal, it's disallowed for no reason. You're going to say something to the ref. So it just didn't work out. And then I saw there was a tweet at the time and asked Wrexham, which I hadn't noticed. It didn't go in, Chay. It
A
went
side net was it?
and got caught like it does sometimes in the back of the net, out on the outside, and rolled along. Like I said, I was watching it frame by frame and I didn't even notice, but that it didn't go in. Which
Yeah,
just I didn't complain, didn't it, really?
yeah. I thought, but to be fair, there was a few people around me who thought it was disallowed as well. I thought, oh, it must have been disallowed for offside or something instead. So it wasn't. You weren't the only one that got caught out by that as well. To be fair, Mark.
Well, we have good Ask Wrexham correspondence on the women's games, and I think it was the same person on two different platforms, I think, who was saying that didn't go in. So, oops.
Right, guys, going back to Abby Ippington, didn't she receive player of the tournament for the cup game in the semi-final as well?
I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen that today or yesterday.
Player of the tournament.
Yeah, player of the round. Sorry, in
Right.
the semi-final. Yeah,
Done because she bossed that game, scored early on, and then hit the bar and was excellent.
Yeah.
So I didn't see that. That passed me by, but good. But she's got
Yeah.
such a good player.
yeah. It was nominated by the Beauty Energy Company. Were nominated her as the player of the round.
Yeah, fair play. Well, I certainly wouldn't disagree. I'm telling you, she was very good in that match indeed. Although there were an awful lot of 9 out of 10s in that game. We won 4-0. Pontypridd showed a lot of guts, but it could have been a lot more as well. We really played well. So fair play. And of course, the thing I was going to say when I was talking about the great job they are doing for women's football in Wales is that we also had the news that somebody who is has played a fabulous role in doing exactly that. Del Morgan has announced she's going to retire after the Welsh Cup final. I mean, she's done superbly for us. She's busy, she's Liverpool's full-time goalkeeping coach, also coaches Wales in the 19s. Sometimes she's not available for matches at the weekends, and so she's had to make a very tough decision. It's such a shame because she's a brilliant person and a brilliant person to have behind her defence. An experienced keeper makes one hell of a difference. And it's always a shame, isn't it, when somebody's contributed so much and then they call it a day. It's always sad, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. She had that really, really legendary performance that I'll always have her engraved in Wrexham folklore now. That got us into into the Welsh Premier League. That game against Briton Ferry, she was the one. We talk about Rosie Hughes' goals from that season that really got us where we were, but I think that game alone was really legendary stuff. Especially with all the storylines from that season from both the men and women's side, that is certainly up there. So it's certainly up there with a lot of things that happened that season. So yeah, she deserves all the credit. A real Wrexham women's legend.
And especially, I just you're quite right. The way the storylines interweave, where after Ben Foster's penalty save, you got Del Morgan playing like that in the playoff final, and then all the fans in the stand at Newtown all singing "Super Del Morgan in goal," just like they did for Ben Foster, except Ben Foster's name, obviously. It was just brilliant. The two keepers both doing such a job. But I mean, yeah, for anyone who didn't see it, she makes a couple of sharps. Well, essentially, it was the same sort of game as Saturday. Briton Ferry stopped us from playing, and they had more of the game than us. They looked the more likely winners.
Yeah.
But we snatched a goal. Rosie Hughes' brilliant assist, and Rebecca Pritchard's terrific finish. Not in the orthodox sense, she's very close in, but she's playing right hand side in a front three, and she makes what she often does when she played in that position. Brilliant diagonal runs, so she's not picked up at the near post. She's lost the whole defence, but she's still running towards, beyond the near post. The cross is coming back across her, and she has to get enough proper contact on it to steer it in. And even though it's close in, she's an intelligent player, Rebecca Pritchard, and she still manages to steer it in. It's a terrific piece of finishing. But Morgan's already made a couple of sharp saves, but then once it's 1-0, we're really under siege. Tina's knocking long balls in, and they started with Alison Witts, the big target striker they brought on Sunday, and she's always been instrumental to how they play. So the keeper's got to take responsibilities, and Morgan's coming out and dealing with high balls. But then, 3 minutes from the end, Briton Ferry striker totally clear on goal, 1-on-1, no one anywhere near her. Morgan makes a brilliant save, standing up and making her aim for the corners, and then sticks her right foot out and pushes it around the post. And then in added time, free kick edge of the area, terrific strike, dipping under the bar, and somehow Morgan gets across on the wall side and just manages to touch it onto the bar. And then appropriately, in both those cases, it's then Phoebe Davis, another player who's given so much to the club, who gets there first and launches it away. And we get promoted, and Morgan was captain because Kim Dutton wasn't playing. And yeah, she really enjoyed the celebrations, and quite rightly, because that was a remarkable performance by her, and we'll miss her, and we'll miss her authority as well, because she's a superb person to have around the squad. So, and she likes reading, and as an ex-English teacher, I'm applauding that.
Is there a game this weekend, Mark?
Cardiff again. So we've now got Cardiff at home. Well, we beat them away, so let's see what we can do at home. Cardiff won the title last weekend, so let's hope they're not really, that motivated. Because if we can win and Briton Ferry beat TNS have lost their last 5 games now. then we're guaranteed third place. Otherwise, we have to go to TNS last weekend of the season and duke it out for third place. Whether we come third or fourth, quite frankly, I don't think matters that much. Like I said, the achievement is getting into the top half the way we did it. Beating Cardiff and Swansea and getting that off our backs and getting to another Welsh Cup final. Those are the big achievements. Third or fourth doesn't really matter. It'd be nice to get the same as last year as well, though. But yeah, so Cardiff will be interesting. They'll test us, no doubt. They won the title in sort of fun style, scored 3 goals in injury time at TNS when we were losing 2-0. And then they held off a fight back by TNS on Sunday and won 3-1. So, yeah. So it's always fun to test yourself against the best, and that's undoubtedly what Cardiff are. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Should be a laugh.
Definitely. And it's a bit of a mental warfare for that cup final, isn't it? Don't want Cardiff winning everything, do we?
Well, they didn't win the trophy this year, but
No.
having said that, no, we don't. So we need to deny them, don't we? We can't.
No, exactly.
But yeah. So yeah, shame about the game, but everything's still looking rosy. Huh? See what I did there? The women's team, and yeah, let's hope the men can finish off after this. That's exactly what we'll talk about. Right, so the men continue to push on, looking for promotion, of course. Probably our most convincing away performance. Oh, no, I was going to say most convincing away performance for a while. That's not fair. Our away form's fantastic, but certainly a convincing win at Exeter. We looked in control, but then Cambridge, frustrating. We dropped the points. It's been a sort of mixed week on the road, but we're still in second place, which is no bad thing.
Well, I think I'm the only person on the whole of Wrexham Twitter fan base or what have you that was quite happy. We'll go into Cambridge. Was really happy with the Cambridge result. Not really happy. But I was quite happy with the Cambridge result. I was a bit more glass half full in that regard. But we'll start with the Exeter game for sure. Yeah, a very convincing away performance, which, you know, we haven't been as convincing on the road, but our form is actually really, really, really good. There's a reason why we're second. Yeah, we're not blowing teams out of the water, but yeah, we were by far in control on Saturday, Neil. And the form Exeter were in, a really, really good result away from home, wasn't it?
Oh, superb away result at Exeter. As you said, Chay, you know, Exeter been superb at home recently. They held Forest in the FA Cup and went into added time and lost on penalty. So they've got great form at the moment. And that, to get 4 points out of 2 away games, yes, you know, most people would have said, oh, it should have been the other way around. You know, you should have got 3 points against Cambridge because they're near the bottom. But yeah, I'm more than happy with 4 points away from home and still to be in that second position because as much as we dislike Shrewsbury, they did us a favour on Tuesday night and held Wycombe to a 0-0 draw. So, a superb performance at Exeter. And yeah, I can understand why some fans are disappointed at the result at Cambridge, but we didn't lose. We come back with a point, guys. And we're still 3 points ahead of Wycombe. Yes, they've got a game in hand, but 6 games left to secure promotion yet again for the 3rd time in a row.
I mean, I agree with Chay. I was more glass half full, if I'm honest. Okay, if you want to look at it as if he'd won, we'd have a decisive advantage over Wycombe. Okay, I get that, but the truth is that ultimately we're in a slightly better position than we were before the Cambridge game because, firstly, there's 1 game less to play. So having that advantage with 1 game less to play is better. And also, I mean, yeah, disappointing to draw away to a team that's in 23rd place, but they were unbeaten in their previous 2. They've only lost 1 game this calendar year by more than 1 goal. They are competitive, and Shrewsbury aren't. And yet they've gone to Wycombe and nicked a point at Wycombe. that's a much worse result as far as I can see. I'm not, I'd rather we won, clearly. And I'm frustrated at some things that happened in the game, but nonetheless, um, we're slightly better off than we were beforehand, I would argue.
If you look at the two results, the Wycombe result and the Wrexham result on Tuesday night, our draw looks a lot better than their draw. Yeah. They're at home. Yeah. They're playing a very poor side. Shrewsbury are a very poor side. And I know Cambridge haven't been great this season, but they're at home. They had the big crowd. And their manager was saying a lot about the players really need to show something now. And they did. And look at the way that game went. The first half, we got that early goal. We had that early chance of Smith as well. But after then, Cambridge really grew into the game. And I think going into half time, I was quite happy that we didn't concede again, in all fairness. And it was a 1-1. And we had that early penalty conceded. It was a bit of a mess. But for me, I was quite happy with the result. I predicted 4 points before those two games are played, Neil. At the end of the day, we aren't going to win every single game till the end of the season now. And if you aren't going to lose them, if you aren't going to beat them, you might as well draw at the end of the day. A point is a point, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I'm more than happy with the 4 points. I'm like you guys, I'm more than happy that we've got 4 points away from home with two very difficult ties. We've had a lot of away games recently, and we've come away with all 3 points in most of these games. So to be on the number of points we've got, second in the league, 6 games to go, how can any fan be unhappy with where we are at this moment in time? Looking at Wycombe against Shrewsbury, they had 30 shots on goal, didn't they? And they couldn't get one in the back of the net. So Shrewsbury did us a great favour. Somebody said they parked a tractor in front of the goal. So, but no,
like French farmers.
So, dropping 2 points at Cambridge, as you said, they've had some decent form recently. Won the last 2 games, and it was always going to be a difficult game. We took the lead with a great strike by Dobson. Still not sure whether it was a penalty. I don't know what you guys think. And we had chances to, right at the end to take all 3 points, which we didn't do. And but no, happily come away from Mansfield with 1 point is not a bad return after 2 away games. 4 points is great.
I think Elliot Lee's really going to be kicking himself that he missed that opportunity. But it kind of is what it is. He was obviously desperate for the goal. He smashed it when he really should have maybe slotted it, side-footed it. I can't really. That would be really frustrating for him. And then the goal that was disallowed. I haven't watched the replay yet. Did it definitely look like it went out, Mark? Or
I don't think there's any point in watching the replay because it doesn't show the correct angle at all. But I'll be honest, I went nuts when it was disallowed because I felt the ref was allowing an awful lot of stuff to go on in a penalty area. And I thought, oh, come on. If you're going to penalise us, it better be clear cut. And it wasn't because it was a really clean header. There didn't seem to be any significant blocking off going on. But then when I heard it was the linesman saying it had gone out and in again, fair enough. He's in the position to judge it. I got no issue with that. Wrexham fans behind sitting in that part behind the corner, and they were saying it had gone out. So fair enough. I should emphasise though, I'm not happy with 4 points out of those 2 games at all. I won 6 points. I think as Parkinson said, after the Exeter game, we've got to be relentless. But having said that, you've also got to be realistic and say that Wycombe dropping those 2 points as well gives us a positive balance, if you will, from these 2 matches, if you see what I mean. But I was disappointed that we couldn't win it. But I do accept that Cambridge showed a lot more than teams down the bottom tend to, and denied us. As for the penalty, soft, I think. Brunt's let him get goal side, which okay, if he doesn't do that, it gets dealt with easily. So that's the first part of it. He does make contact with him. I don't think there's a lot of contact there, and I think I see exactly why Parkinson is so frustrated, not least because at the end of the first half, Kel Watts handled it in their penalty area, and that looked a bit more a penalty to me. He was unsighted, but his arm's sticking out. So, yeah, I felt unhappy with the penalty decision, if I'm honest, but hey. And then as well, the fact that Loft, I thought, should have been sent off for the foul on O'Connell. 39 seconds later, he's hitting the shot that rebounds off a Conquo for them to score the first goal. And he wins the penalty. So, I wasn't crazy about the ref in that match, I'm going to be frank. But having said that, hey.
I think it swings and roundabouts when it comes to dodgy penalty decisions in this league. We've had a few this season. We've had a few.
Long?
Well, Rodriguez's penalty against Exeter was a bit contentious, and the Blackpool one was Stephen Fletcher one was a bit dodgy from what my memory was as well. A lot of people argued against the Stockport one. I thought the Stockport one was a penalty. But again, referees have to make decisions on the spot.
Yeah.
We don't have VAR at this level. But it is what it is. To be fair, with the Rodriguez one against Exeter, at the time, but when it happened, I thought that's Stonewall penalty.
Yeah.
But the more you watch it, it wasn't. So you've got to give the referee, again, the benefit of the doubt, haven't you? And on Tuesday, I think that I didn't think it was a penalty, but again, it kind of is what it is. I don't really, at this level of football or any level of football, I don't trust officiating, and that is what it is.
But when you see some of the decisions in the Everton-Liverpool game with the aid of VAR, then I think we've got to cut people a bit of slack, haven't we, really, the referees? So, I don't know.
That is what it is. At the end of the day, we didn't draw because of that. We drew because we didn't put our chances away when we could. At the end of the day, you can't always be blaming decisions. We're a good enough side to beat Cambridge, but the flip side, I think if Wycombe would have won, I think I would have been a lot more doom and gloom about it. But at the end of the day, you've got to look at their running and our running now. They've got Reading on Saturday. We've got Burton. I'm sure we'll talk about Burton later on in the podcast for a little bit, but with the Reading game for Wycombe, that's a dangerous game. That's a really dangerous game with what's going on off the pitch there. There's been statements released today I haven't quite read from the EFL. Reading are in a mess, and as they did against us, they're a good side anyway. That could bring the best out of them. So it's a really dangerous game for them. They got Huddersfield the Tuesday after. So at this moment in time, I'd rather points on the board. The pressure's on Wycombe more than it is us at this time.
Yeah, we've both got Charlton as well, of course, so we're going like a train.
Yeah, of course.
But I'd rather be in our position than them, really. What's your take on it, Neil?
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. They always say, we've got games in hand, and a few seasons ago we had 2-3 games in hand, and I'd rather the points on the table. Obviously you can lose those games, and so had points on the table. They've got a couple of tough games, but we've got a couple of tough games as well, because we've got to go to, we've got Wigan away the following Saturday. So we'll see what will be. Parky's got to get his tactics right. He started with the same starting 11 for the last 3 or 4 games now, so I'm assuming he will go along those lines yet again, and bring on the impact with Fletcher, which he does quite often. And I thought it was good when he brought Barney on and Longman on the wings on Tuesday night. I thought they played superbly. It's all to play for, guys. We're in the driving seat at the moment. I wouldn't say anybody's got an easier or harder game, because every game is going to be tough for every team that's fighting for the playoff place or the automatic promotion. As you said, Mark, we both got to play Charlton, which is our last home game of the season, and that could be a huge, huge game. So, they're all tough games. if we play ugly and win 1-0, I'll be happy. Bring it on Saturday and see what happens, guys.
And any changes to starting 11? Would anybody make any changes to starting 11? Freshen it up a little bit, or would you just stick with what we have done for the last few games, which has been pretty successful?
I don't think I'd change it, although I agree the Longman Barnett approach attracts me. I think there's something to be said for trying that, but I don't think we will.
Longman Barnett, it'd be throw a spanner in the works, wouldn't it? You'd be a bit. If you were Burton, you'd be a bit scared of that, wouldn't you? Either of them each side, if we could really go at them. But again, is Longman as good on the left? Defensively, it maybe is something we could exploit. It could be a double-edged sword, that, couldn't it, as well? So, McLean's very experienced and very solid, isn't he, in that position? So, and he's not really done much wrong either.
No, I thought he was excellent at Exeter as well.
Really I thought he was brilliant at Exeter. So I don't think I'd change anything. In all fairness, I'm really happy with the 11 we've got at this moment in time.
And was it
you,
5,
Neil?
7?
What about the strikers? Would you maybe mix it up with the strikers? I mean, Smith's doing superb. He's scoring goals at the moment. Superb header the other night. So that may be something we'll look at. We've had, Tuesday, Saturday game. I'm not sure.
It's just who do we start? Obviously would have to start Smith, but who do we start in ahead of Rodriguez? I think Rodriguez and Smith are doing really well together at this moment in time. They're playing really nicely. It's been a bit of a tougher start for Rodriguez, especially because I think we've had such high hopes considering the pedigree he's come from, but he wasn't playing consistent football for Burnley early on in the season. We've got to give him time to get used to the team. And I think he is, he is getting there. He's a really solid player. So,
but at this moment in time, we haven't got the game time for
exactly
scoring goals. That's a big dilemma, guys.
But by the last 7 goals scored by Rodriguez and Smith, though, which suggests
I totally agree with you.
It's working. So
I think Fletcher's that good off the bench as well. I don't think he's as effective starting. I think he's so good off the bench. Marriott with Smith, maybe.
But Marriott's not had much chance really to play, has he, since he's come back?
Exactly.
So I don't see that change happening personally. And I feel okay with that because I think I'm happy with Rodriguez. I got the feeling, as I couldn't actually go last Tuesday, first game I've missed, men or women, this all season, that wasn't down to the games clashing. So I was annoyed. I was hoping to make that. But it made me think, is Rodriguez a player you appreciate a bit more when you're in the stadium and you can see the stuff he's doing off the ball and the way he makes space for other people? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's a good player. I like Rodriguez a lot, and I personally, I don't see that as a change I'd want to make at the moment, personally.
Only if he's fatigued from playing too much, maybe. That'd be the only time you maybe would change anyone in the 11, really, if they are fatigued, a bit knackered, or carrying a niggle. I think that'd be the only time you'd change things around, really. Personally, I think this, unless we do really throw a spanner in the works, as you said, Mark, is do the Barnett and Longman. But I do think that comes with its troubles as well. If that doesn't work, I think Barnett or Longman are really good coming off the bench as impact players as well, aren't we? If we are 1 down or if it's 1-1. So, I really can't.
Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
I think Longman's better defensively than I gave him credit for at the start. Actually, I feel more comfortable with that idea than I would have done. It's just that I just don't think Parkinson would look to do that. I think James McLean's the captain, and I think that against teams like Burton who are fighting like hell, you want to fight it. I'm not saying Barnett and Longman aren't, but clearly McLean is, isn't he?
Yeah, of course, yeah. And he's our leader, isn't he?
Yeah.
he does a lot. He's got a certain presence on the pitch, isn't he? Between hand quality and experience, which is exactly what we need at this time of the season. Yeah. So I think Parkinson does go with the safe option, and I also don't blame him either.
No, I'm sure we'll start with the same 11 as we have in the last 2-3 games. So my only maybe small gripe with McLean is his balls into the box haven't been as great as I've been previously. But apart from that, he's, as you say, he's our captain, he's the leader, he motivates the team, and he gets the fans going as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think so. It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope we can do the job. Who cares how we do it, as long as we do it? The ugly bird catches the worm. 12:45 kickoff. Or 12:30, whichever one. That was profound, wasn't it? Tell you what. Right, after this, we'll wrap stuff up. Well, we put the final Whistle Weekly to bed, and now we're going to make a second attempt to actually sign it off, because I completely messed up our previous sign-off, and Neil and Chay to explain to me just how stupid I am. As you can imagine, that took quite a long time. I'm considerably stupid. Help me. Looking forward to the weekend, gentlemen. I promise not to interrupt you this time and say, no, that's all wrong, when it was perfect.
Yeah, two huge games, Cardiff for the women, and that 12:30 kickoff against Burton, who looked really down the dumps early on this season. But Neil, they're a dangerous side at the moment, aren't they?
They are. I mean, they're doing in good form at the moment, and yeah, it could be a huge banana skin. The men's team have got to be on their game on Saturday. As you say, it's an early kickoff, which is difficult to motivate yourself at being at the ground so early. So Burton beat Leyton Orient in the week at 2-1. They're 3 points behind Bristol Rovers, but they're still third from bottom. But they're making a big claim for the Great Escape at the moment, Mark, aren't they?
They certainly are. But you're a farmer, Neil. The early morning should hold no fear for you. It's that giant banana skin that worries me. You lot with your genetically modified foods.
Well, they do play in yellow, don't they, Burton? So.
Yeah, on the other hand, Chay, they're brewers, so they should be right up your street.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's a couple of ex-Wrexham players playing there.
Few ex-Wrexham.
And a couple of Wrexham players playing for him as well. So,
yeah, Fordy, James Jones, and Bud Vart's going to get some especially James Jones and Ford. It'd be really nice to see them back at the racecourse. I hope we really do give them a really good reception to the legends of the club for what they've done for us.
I'd be horrified if we didn't, I've got to say. And also, of course, off the pitch, Fleur Robinson's coming back. John Whittleson, who was our commercial manager, coming back. I know community manager. So yeah, it's going to be a proper reunion. And if they can't give us the 3 points, what sort of people are they?
Exactly. But I am quite scared about Saturday. They're a good side. I think with the signings they made in January, it's not a given. It really is not a given. They're a really good side, so I am excited. It's going to be fun.
I'm inclined to agree with you. I've actually been thinking for a few weeks. I've been feeling a bit edgy about that match, so I hope we're able to get at them. Their pattern last couple of games seems to have been start slowly, let an early goal in, improve, and come back. Stockport, they lost, but they 1-0. Yeah. I mean, they were the better side. My son watched it and he said the last hour, Burton just dominated Stockport at Stockport. They've come back from behind, like you said, to beat Orient midweek. And unfortunately, we seem to be in the habit of scoring early goals, but then not getting the second. Exeter accepted, so we can't afford to have that. I've been for a few weeks thinking that's going to be a proper test. The manager Bowyer's done really well when you consider that they headhunted Chelsea's head of academy and it didn't. I think it was an ambitious idea, but he got 4 points at the first 11 games, and he was gone. The interim manager was in for 6 weeks, and he was getting just over a point a game, so he improved them considerably. That he was in charge, and we won there thanks to Elliot Lee's corner going in. And then Bowyer is getting like 1.25 points a match. So, they're stepping up and stepping up. And if they win, they'll be out of the bottom four at least until Bristol Rovers play. So,
Yeah.
my message is I want Burton to stay up because A, they're really brave and they've battled like hell. And B, they've got a lot of good links with us. But I want them to stay up by us beating them and then us doing them a favour and beating Bristol Rovers in a fortnight. That's my dream scenario.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
And neither of them going to be easy games, are they? Because they're both going to be fighting against relegation, so it's going to be two tough games at home in the next couple of matches.
Yeah. Exactly so. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed, chaps. It was in the last one when I had a pop at you for being Oh, was it? No, maybe it wasn't. Oh, well. Let's hope my anti-farmer rhetoric makes the cut. As I make the cut. So, chaps, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you. Twice sometimes.
Yeah, it's been always a pleasure, guys.
Nice
Yeah,
one.
it's been a pleasure. Up the town.
Absolutely. And so good they said it twice. And this has been Final Whistle Weekly.